In this video, we're going to be going over my preferred indicators for Tradingview. I'm not a big indicator person at all on Tradingview, so these are really ones that I use on the occasion quite frequently and are powerful, but obviously don't provide like buy and sell signals by any means. So if you're here for that, click off. The first one going to be session opens. Okay, so if we just click on this here, and all the indicators, by the way, will be just linked in the description below if you want to be trying them out. They're all free. The first one being this open lines by Nephew Sam. I went over this in a previous video a little bit, discussing, or probably on Twitter, but discussing how the naked opens work. So again, basically this indicator allows you to have custom session opens. Okay, just lines coming out at essentially where those opens are, using that to my own profitability standpoint, seeing how they, the naked opens work. New York in this case, again, +1 for me because I use custom session times. London, you can really customize how you want. Disable this, add London opens in, add New York opens in. You can have 3 at once. Decipher how many lines you want to be showing, extend them how far, the width of them, and the label size. Okay, I just like to keep on this, and yeah, that's it. That's the first one. Very nice, very simple. But I use it a lot, potentially SR levels at these opens, where the bigger players trading. Think about like New York initial balances potentially and stuff like that. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. The next one will be an add-on from a liquidity video I went over before, and this is a really big aid for me myself. And it's going to be this high-low indicator. So just enable it. Again, this will all be linked below. None of these are my indicator. Actually, one of them is kind of, I got them created, but this one here is not my indicator. Literally just got it. It's simply daily highs and lows in the format of lines. And I like to see this where resting liquidity is. You can see that there's two daily stops below here, for example, waiting to be tested. When you have two so close, it's like prime for liquidity essentially. I've seen it so many times. When you get trending days, like even up here, 2 stops there resting. It's very, very common, and it extends as far as you want. There's not many settings, really, too many settings to adjust to it. You can even see here, you had this double bottom, right, on 2 daily. This was like definitely going to be taken out. Any sort of move up was good for a short opportunity, and this is how I use it. It's the most simplest of indicators, okay, but it's very, very powerful. When you see potentially in this case like these stops being trailed like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're not taking any liquidity the next day or anything. That's like, it can be ripped straight through. I've seen it so many times. Again, go and watch. Well, I'll go over it in a minute, but yeah, I see it so often. You can even see it here where you got so many stops like resting, when it gets taken out, whether it's going to cause an SFP or not, you don't know, but it's more than likely to give a potential reaction. Even down here, you can see 2 daily lows, right, 1 and 2 taken down here for potential SFP. Obviously, that cause a massive rally in price. So very, very simple indicator. Without diving too much more into it, it's probably one of my favorites. I use it within my daily routine. It's there. I'm checking it every single day in confluence with other indicators for liquidity. With that being said, let's move on to that next indicator now, which is that liquidity indicator that I went over before within my liquidity video. This was, if you want a full breakdown of this and use case of this one, simply go and watch that video, and I'll be linked now, probably liquidity, or it'll be linked at the end. But it's called liquidity, how I trade liquidity. And I use this again in confluence now with this high-low indicator. So you've got this and this for when you're looking for liquidity. That's all I really use is those ones. So far we've done the opens, we've done the highs and lows, and we've done this liquidity one, but this will simply be like a fractal and extended out, and it changes depending on the time frame. It extends out, shows the naked ones. It's got quite a few settings to it that I got added. You can change the price labels if you want. You can show the price if you want on there. You can see it comes on, show pivot bars and plenty different stuff like that. It's got quite a few settings we've got added, and thank you to one of my friends, Alan Stuff, for making that. So yeah, that's the third one. Let's go on to the next one now. This next one is session boxes. Again, all links will be credited down below for this one. I believe it was Dave _ that I'm using. There's plenty of different variants of this one. But again, I've used this in confluence with the naked opens one. So the open lines one by Nephew Sam. So you can see here how we've got these session boxes here. Again, fully customizable within the settings. Okay, you can adjust that all here. What sessions do you want to be showing, what times, etc. The box types, the label types, all of that stuff, any fibs or midpoints of that. And then I've also added the open lines to it, so I can see that if I want for example, in the open line section, we show London open, it might appear there depending on the time settings, as long as they're correlated. So you can see how this is really useful using some of these indicators together. Again, I will really only show the New York open on this one, but I use these consistently. It's not it's not like a buy sell indicator by any means, but it's showing me where is resting liquidity within sessions. Similar to how the high low one was looking at days, we can see when we've got that resting liquidity at the lows, 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions worth of liquidity building up higher lows there is good for liquidity to be taken. So this is all really, really good stuff. Okay, Links will be down below for this one. Very simple. Adjust the settings if you want to be like mine. I do adjust these quite frequently in terms of like the end sessions and Tokyo and close and stuff. But yeah, add this and yeah, you'll have the same as mine. That's the fourth one. Let's move on to another one. And I'll go over some combinations I like with these as well. The next one I'll cover will be this one over here. So if we just go to this is the VWAP. So basically this is just regular VWAPs, both the daily session, weekly is the yellow, and the purple is the monthly VWAP. So you can see how it's ongoing. Details. Another thing you can add to this is the VWAP closes. I used to have that show like previous month VWAP closes and whatnot, but you can see here clearly, in my opinion. Yeah, VWAP close down there, VWAP close up here, and so on and so forth. So fairly simple indicator, but it shows you all the VWAPs weekly, daily, and monthly. And yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I did also want to say in relation to this that I will drop I'll try drop an anchored VWAP, not anchored VWAP, a VWAP close indicator down below for you as well. So if you do want that, I'll add that in down below for those that do want that. But I currently just use these three rolling session, weekly, and monthly VWAPs on my chart. So that's the 5. I've got a bonus one for you all here. I'll mention this because essentially I don't use this indicator. I don't, but it's here. Now, this is, you're probably all familiar with it, key levels by Spaceman, and it's showing you high, low, weekly, daily, previous day, previous week levels. Now, I do mark these levels out on my chart manually. Now, people be like, you can just automate it. No, I don't like doing that because it doesn't get me in the habit of doing something on a daily basis. If I just be like, oh yeah, they're already on my chart, and I always get this from my students that I'm mentoring, we can just use this thing. I'm like, no, don't use it. Get your brain engraved into doing this type of morning routine every morning, knowing what these levels are. So consciously, knowing, okay, this is where previous day low is, what can be going around there, previous day high, just getting you in the mood, knowing where the levels are, and getting in the habit of having that routine in the morning of checking these previous day, weekly, and monthly levels. So if you do have that strategy or something else really wants you to have this on there, go for it. I prefer to do it manually, and every morning is part of my morning routine. That's the 6. Let's go over some useful collabs and different templates and sets I like to use together. So we'll get into that now. So one which I like to use together quite a bit is this. So the highs, the daily highs and lows, right, alongside the sessions. So you've got the daily highs and lows, and you can see within that where the sessions are kind of going. It gives you the higher the day, the lower the day, and the highs and lows of each individual session. A lot of these stuff that I'm using is in relation to looking for the best liquidity. Session highs and lows, actual daily highs and lows. And obviously I would like to use the liquidity one, the pivots, the fractal type one. We're looking for the, liquidity in terms of sets, and looking for essentially these, the gaps within price action to be, looking for liquidity to be taken before a reversal. So yeah, a lot of these are essentially liquidity indicators. So I wouldn't really go over it too much, but those are a few of the sets and collabs I like to use together. And the final one, of course, which I discussed, was that high, lows, and daily liquidity. So a lot of you know I do mentoring. Again, this is a website for it now. If you want to apply for it, it's limited spaces. I've got 7 or 8 people at the moment anyway. It goes through an application process, not just pay the money and you're in. You got to go through application process, see if you're right for the fit. I decline quite a few applications, so make sure you go and do a thorough job on that if you do want to apply. And the aim is just to get you profitable at the end of the day, and move forward with weekly sessions. There'll be added benefits to this obviously in the future. If you know my background and stuff, there'll be added benefits to this. So yeah, if you want to apply, if you don't get accepted, there's like I'll give a waiting period before you reapply. But yeah, if you haven't applied, there you go. Now you know it's there. Be sure to join it, and hopefully you get accepted, and hopefully we have a good time working together if you do so. So thank you again. Thank you for applying, and thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you found it useful.